Happy Hungry Wednesday. So I got to go back and check the episode numbers, but I think probably around episode 8, cousin Patrick here was helping me brew. What kind of beer was it? Do you remember?
I think it was an ale.
Was it ale? Was it a brown ale or some
It
kind of
was a
brown
regular
ale?
brown, I think.
Some kind of brown ale. Anyway, we are here in Lake George, New York, at a little lake house, and we've been slaying fish. We have this beer here that we want to try. I think Patrick had it for the first time the other day when we had our first one. That was the first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think he liked it.
Not the last.
Yeah, I think he liked it. We were thinking about taking a trip up to Alchemist to get some, but we couldn't convince our wives to let us break away for. It would take about an hour or 2 hours and 43 minutes each
One
way.
way, yeah.
And I don't think with the little ones running around that we'd be able to do that. So anyway, we're gonna do a little taste test of the heady topper, and then I think we're gonna follow it up with Space Kitty, which is that's a nice little look at that, nice little local beer here. Think local, drink local, right? So anyway, I'll let you do the honors here.
Oh man.
Split this
Really?
up. Yeah.
You may not get any.
I know we're not. We drank our first one from the can, so you know.
I get to do the.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
All right. So Patrick is going to describe the aroma.
It's extremely. I mean, it's hoppy. I like citra hops, and
I think this one. Yeah. Don't put. Yeah. You got to get half, man. This is our last can. We had a 4-pack. I may or may not have drunk one before Patrick showed up.
you know why I gave you so much? I'm not used to splitting cans.
Yeah.
I'm just like pouring.
Oh, we're pretty good. Yeah, we're good. That's pretty close.
Oh man. Okay.
All right. I think I got a millimeter more, so that's cool.
The aroma is
Okay.
great.
Oh my God. Yeah, you lose some when you pour it into a glass, but
The can still has more smell than the glass.
yeah, the can has more smell. It's because they say they say drink out of the can because they have that layer of CO2 on top of it and it keeps the aroma in. Anyway, with this thing, this is like this started all the Haze Nation. See how it's hazy, right? Hazy, right? You can't see through it. It's not as hazy as some of the ones they put out now. Have you had some New England IPAs?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Some of them taste like soap, don't they? They get a little too, you know.
Well, I live in the Denver area. The ones that
Yeah.
I've had there were pretty alright.
Yeah. You know. Prost.
Cheers. Yeah, this is a new favorite. Totally. This is amazing. It
Yeah.
actually drinks not like a double IPA.
Yeah, and that's why it says it's dangerous. It's 8%, but you
Yeah.
can crush this thing. And I think when this was the first New England IPA, and the bitterness was is up there. This is like 100 if not more.
120. You looked it up.
120 was the one that I made. I did one that was
okay.
but I tried to approximate it, and it was pretty close. So yeah, I mean this thing is north of 100 IBU, so it's like super bitter, but it's really good. Now the New England IPAs they try to get them as low bitterness as possible, like 20 and less, and then just make them super sweet and citrusy. And I don't know, it's a little too much for me. I like this. I gotta have the bitters.
Yeah, the bitter flavor is good on this.
So anyway, so Patrick lives in Colorado, so he gets all kinds of good beers like Odell's and what was some of the other ones you were telling me about? There's a new brewery. Yeah.
Well, there's several new ones, and there keep popping out new ones. But the IPAs we were talking about that are really good are Independence Pass Ale from
Oh yeah,
Aspen
yeah,
Brewing.
that's the one you were talking about.
You like the Titan.
I like the
from-
Titan. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I can get Titan actually. I can get
Yeah.
it close. Yeah, but it's probably not as fresh as
they have the Hercules.
Hercules is
That's a double
yeah,
IPA?
yeah, that's a good one too. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, this is pretty damn good.
Yeah, this is pretty
Yeah, this
amazing.
is good. So, anyway, we didn't get to go north to go and get. I mean, because I think you're limited. If you go to the Alchemist Brewery, you can get 3-4 packs of Heady Topper. You can get Focal Banger, which is a 7% version of this, and I want to say it's. Some people say it's better. I'm a big double IPA guy, so I like the 8%. But the 7% I had is really good, and you get. I mean, I think the hops even come out more in the 7% because I think it's almost the same amount of hops. But it's really good too. But you can only get 2 4-packs of Focal Banger. I think everyone's trying to get that one. Then they got about, I think, I want to say 7 or 8 different beer styles. So anyway, last time we do this family vacation every 2 years. 2 years ago we were in Outer Banks. This dude slayed how big was that fish? I think it was like
3 feet.
No, but how much did it weigh, you think?
Weigh?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That thing was at least 15, if not higher, right?
Yeah, it was more.
It was like 20 pounds, maybe?
Yeah.
It was about 20 pounds. It was a big-ass brown, it was called a cobia?
Cobia.
Cobia. And these things run from around the tip of Florida, right? And they go on the run up the East Coast.
Yeah, they come.
And the guy was saying, hey, we might not see any cobia. You know, we were catching mahi-mahi. And then on the way back, this guy was talking on the cell phone. Patrick spots this big brown, you know.
It looked like a shark.
It looked like a shark.
Cool about the.
Yeah.
Like it swam.
Big
like
shadow swimming. So he says, hey man, I think it's a cobia. The dude like stops the boat, throws the lure, and we catch this, you know, 20 plus
the first reel
pound
that thing bit.
yeah, cobia. And the meat on that thing was like ridiculous. It was slap your mama good. You know, we cut that up. We had a bunch of cobia. You guys got a bunch of meat too, right?
Yeah.
We all took back. We were eating on that thing for, probably like 2 or 3 weeks. Like
Really?
2 nights. Oh yeah, we had the neighbors come over. We had a big fish fry. It was
Hey,
really,
you got more than your fair share.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, man, you caught it, and I got more of it. But we had some mahi too.
Yeah, that was good. We
yeah.
ate that on the Outer Banks, so.
Yeah.
hopefully.
So for this fishing trip, we have spent all of our time. You can't see it, but all the way down here, there's like a 0.2 mile driveway that goes down to the lake, and we have been fishing in the boathouse. And this dude caught. You're out of the video, man.
I just wanted to show the lake.
Oh, sorry.
The lake's nicer than me.
This dude caught well, we're cooking them right now.
Smallmouth bass.
We just
It's
put him
oven.
in the oven like 11 minutes ago. He caught a smallmouth bass that was about 3 pounds, maybe more, 3.5 pounds. It was big. It was
You
a big.
eyed it at 5 now earlier in the
Yeah,
kitchen,
we
but
keep
had
pumping
it
him
on
up.
the
It'll be
tray.
7 pounds when we do the next
After
video.
this beer, it'll be more.
After this beer, it'll be 8 pounds. Largemouth striper.
But it was about this long, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, so it's, from your finger to the elbow. But he caught it on a flea fly, right? We had the yellow
Yeah.
fuzzy one.
Yeah, exactly.
I brought that. All right. And so we got the flea fly, all of the big fish. We caught 2 big fish, maybe a couple more. You threw one back today. I lost one yesterday morning. It wasn't that big. It was a smaller one. But all of those fish we caught on artificial lures. And then we got crawfish and worms and
Small minnows.
shiners, minnows. And all we caught was like sun perch and some little striped thing. I don't know what that was.
Like a striped bass or a striped perch.
Yeah, but one of them, it looked like a perch because the fins were different, but it had really cool stripes on it. But anyway, we're cooking those things right now, so we got all the little fish wrapped up in a tin foil, and then we got the 2 bass. I caught a bass. Was that this morning or yesterday? It was yesterday.
yesterday,
Right?
yeah.
It was yesterday. I caught that thing on. I have a minnow spinnerbait,
That's
and
awesome.
it hit like that, and man, it not only hit the lure, it went out of the water. It breached the water surface, which is kind of cool.
The thing looked totally legit. Like
Yeah.
a real minnow.
Yeah, it did. Your wife saw that today.
And
She's
like,
like, oh, there's a fish right there, and then she sees me reeling. She's like, oh, that's your lure, yeah. So, but anyway, it was fun. This is our breakaway. So we got all the kids upstairs. So he's sneaking away from his paternal duties right now, so we could do a homebrew Wednesday. So anyway,
Cheers.
how would you describe the taste on this thing? What do you think? Put you on the spot.
the taste of it.
For someone that's never had a heady topper, how would you describe it?
I like the hops front flavored. Like it's really super hoppy.
Yeah.
It has multiple layers of hop. It's not just like one type. It's like it has several aspects of hop,
Yeah.
and it's bitter. So it has a finish to it. So it's really, it lasts,
Yeah.
which is nice. So it's not just refreshing, which I like about hops usually.
Yeah.
And fresh beer, cold, and all that jazz. But it's like this has really out of the can, even more so, intense flavors in
All
the
the way-
nose,
all the way
and
through, right?
all the way through,
Yeah.
and then it has this long finish, which is, amazing for
Yeah.
beer, and it tasted about the same the whole can through.
It does. It does. And what I like, and not only does it taste the same the whole can through, I think it tastes the same from the first blast, because they show the picture of the dude with his
Boom.
hops getting blown back on his head, but you get this bitterness up front, but it's not a harsh bitterness, and it stays like all the way through. and because sometimes you get an
It's
IPA.
good bitter.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
bitter
a very
can be like
it's an even bitter.
nasty,
All
yeah.
It's a heavy, even bitter all the way through. It's not harsh because some
you want to have a second sip. It's not this bitter beer where you're like, oh my god,
yeah.
need to put this down
Yeah.
and have grab a bite of whatever cracker you have in front of you. But this
Yeah.
is really
I don't know
you
how they
wanna
do
keep
that.
drinking it.
I don't know how they do it. I mean,
It's really awesome.
because usually beers that are this bitter, you know, like you said at the end of the can, you're like it's a little too bitter, or even on that one sip, all you're left with is a bitterness. But this
Well-rounded.
This is very well rounded. Yeah, that's what I like about this beer. It's very balanced, and those of you who've had Dean's List beers before, I know that I pride myself on doing balanced beers, so they're not one-dimensional. So anyway, that's a perfect description.
You forgot to mention on the Outer Banks, man. You had two different really nice. You had a saison and
Yeah.
an IPA. on
Lighthouse IPA, or no, I'm sorry, Lighthouse
Those.
Saison was a Saison. The IPA, I think I called it Shark Bite IPA. Didn't I call it Shark Bite IPA?
it. Should have called
Yeah,
Cobia
it
Bite.
was a little too bitter. It had too much for me. It had a little bit too much of a bite on it. But unfortunately, I didn't get to bring any beer down here for this because last time I took almost a cooler full of
We bottled it before we went.
yeah beer that I brought. But this time because of homebrew convention, the Helles that I had, which I thought you was gonna like, we ended up drinking in Rhode Island. So now I want you to tell the viewers what you were telling me about how American beer has kind of ruined you now on German beer.
So I'm born and raised German. I should mention that. Lived in Germany for over 30 years, and I think that the Germans can take a few lessons from really good American beer. The first taste of American beer, real American beer, I had in Oregon.
Ooh,
So
that's a good-
Corvallis, Oregon.
That's not a bad place.
That's not a bad place.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I worked there for a few weeks. And, even in downtown Oregon, Corvallis, they had a homebrew supply store,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome. And yeah, I always liked IPAs and stuff, but then in Britain, they
Yeah.
like to drink them a little bit at room temperature,
Yeah.
which I don't go with
You
at
don't-
all.
you don't- yeah,
Oh god,
yeah.
man. And no, here, Willamette Valley hops, and I don't know what happened in Oregon, but I was like thinking to arrive into the Coors and Miller country,
Yeah.
and I drink these first
Oh,
IPAs
yeah.
and stuff.
You're
I
like-
didn't know about it. I
Yeah.
didn't know about it.
Yeah, yeah. You're like,
That
this
was
is
like
good.
I was blown back. Yeah, and now that I live in the Denver area, man, for 5 years now with Kristen, and,
Yeah.
yeah, it's phenomenal, really awesome.
Well, wait a minute, because I came in to visit you guys in Germany, and we went to a restaurant. Remember, we went to the Turkish restaurant,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we were so at that point, you probably didn't have an idea about American beers and IPAs at that point when we first met, right?
my trip to Corvallis
Well, no,
was-
you had been there before, so then you had so you had them.
I knew about it, but it's really hard to get. So, I mean, I know the German beer market is hard to access because there's always like, I think they have leases on restaurants. So
Yeah.
when you go into you run a restaurant, then you have to take the beer from a certain supplier because it's connected to the lease.
Yeah.
So you can't just brew your own thing and supply
Yeah.
and sell it. It's really difficult to get in, but I think the market is there. I mean, I'm a guy born and raised there. I don't know why
And
other
you like the
people wouldn't
hops.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
You guys normally do the noble hops over there with the Helles and
yeah.
like one of the beers we talk about is the Edelstoss that we have that
I ate stuff.
Now,
Awesome.
contrary to what Patrick just said, I love, as you look at the beer I brewed for National Homebrew Convention, I love Helles. That's like one of my favorite beer styles. I do love my IPAs, but I think that,
I love them because it's hard for me to get.
yes, I mean,
Vice versa for you, huh?
yeah,
I
it
drank
is.
a few Hella in my.
Yeah, it's hard for us to, although I'm starting to see the Pilsner market is turning around in the States. We're starting to get really good Pilsners. The Helleses are you're starting to see a few more. For a while, it was kind of a red hair or a unicorn. Now you're starting to see more and more Helles. But I think we're starting to just kind of come into our own in the lagers and the Pilsner styles. I think we're starting to get better. But man, you go to Munich and you have just a light lager over there. To me, I could drink those things all day long.
Yeah, but that's what they're made for.
That's what they're made for. Yes, they're more drinkable than these, but this is just an experience. So anyway, we're out of time. We're 15 minutes. So hey, have yourself a happy homebrew and have a very, very happy homebrew
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Cheers.
Cheers.
Perfect. We're right at it.